Today, we will once again take a look at interesting footage that captures a moment: how Ukrainian FPV drones dropped bombs when Russian troops entered Avdiivka. A video shared on Telegram by a Ukrainian military blogger that claims to show a drone strike on a Russian tank could cause concern for Ukraine. The video, which bears the insignia of Ukraine's 60th Mechanized Brigade, appears to show a hit on a T-72B3 MOBR 2022 tank with a large improvised EU system. Rob Lee, a senior policy fellow at the Foreign Policy Research Institute, wrote on X, formerly Twitter. Ukraine has regularly used drones to attack Russian tanks, strike trenches, destroy equipment, and target soldiers, and Ukraine also claims to have used sea drones to target Russian warships in the Black Sea. But this crude-looking Russian electronic warfare EU system could be highly problematic for Ukraine's drone operators. Electronic warfare uses the electromagnetic spectrum, including signals like radio, infrared, or radar, to disrupt an enemy's ability to use those signals itself, according to defense manufacturer Lockheed Martin. It has played an increasingly important role in the war due to the prevalent use of drones by both sides. But while Russia has enjoyed an advantage in the field of electronic warfare so far, such systems are often not installed on armored vehicles on the front lines, making them easy to attack, Ukrainian soldiers recently told media. That's backed up by a February report from the think tank the Institute for the Study of War, which said that Russian military bloggers had slammed Russian commanders for failing to equip armored vehicles with the systems. Even more troubling for Ukraine is that while the T-72B3M system may look somewhat crude to the untrained eye, it appears to be effective. Lee shared images of the tank and its EU system, which, he wrote, reportedly was effectively countering a large number of FPVs operating with different frequencies before it was stopped. Russia's lead in EU has also put a strain on Ukraine's supply of drones, which have been crucial to its war efforts so far, to the extent that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced in February that he would create a separate branch of the armed forces dedicated to the unmanned systems. Ukrainian soldiers told The Times that they found it extremely difficult to get new drones, despite government pledges for more, and that most were obtained through volunteer donations. However, British Defence Secretary Grant Shapps announced last month that the UK would send 10,000 drones to Ukraine to help bolster their stocks. On the other hand, Kyiv's fighters crushed a convoy of Russian armored vehicles in northeastern Ukraine, according to the country's military, ahead of an anticipated Russian push as early as next month. Ukrainian reconnaissance assets zeroed in on an armored column close to Ukrainian positions near the Russian-controlled eastern city of Kreminna. The Azov Brigade, which is now part of Ukraine's National Guard, said in a statement on Saturday. The soldiers of the 12th Azov Brigade and the 95th Air Assault Brigade crushed the enemy convoy near the village of Terny, the Azov Brigade said in a post to messaging app Telegram. Russian forces lost 11 pieces of equipment, and the Ukrainian brigade took a T-72B2M tank, Azov's press service said. A total of 50 Russian fighters were killed, the brigade added, sharing footage purportedly showing the attack, but the video appears to show Ukrainian kamikaze drones heading for a line of armored vehicles, with airborne drones capturing footage of explosions along the convoy. A final shot in the video appears to show the captured Russian tank. Russian forces have slowly advanced towards the village of Terny, west of their current positions. The US-based think tank, the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, recently evaluated that Moscow's troops were within around 700 meters of the village. Ukraine's military said on Sunday that its forces repelled 7 Russian attacks around Terny in the past day. The enemy tried to break through our troops' defenses, Kyiv said in a statement. Russia's defense ministry said on Sunday that it had fought off 2 counterattacks by assault groups from the 95th Airborne Assault Brigade around Terny. Ukraine's Azov Brigade rose out of the Azov Battalion and has roots in far-right ideology and ultra-nationalism from which it has sought to distance itself over the course of the full-scale war. Moving past a volunteer battalion, the brigade has been absorbed into Ukraine's National Guard, and Kyiv has warned that Russia will likely start a new offensive in late May or during the summer, and that it is amassing new troops for the effort. Some Western analysts, such as the ISW think tank, have suggested that Russia may focus on the western parts of Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region in hopes of building upon Russian forces' steady but marginal advances in this sector. Meanwhile, wartime need has pushed Ukraine's government to permit calling up more of its adult population to join the fight against the Russian invasion, a long-considered, but still contentious step that could provide Kyiv's armed forces with thousands of new recruits. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky formally approved legislation this week that lowers the age of mobilization for combat duty to age 25, down from its previous limit of 27. Volodymyr Zelensky also signed a bill that will eliminate some draft exemptions and another that will create an online registry of possible recruits. Zelensky's government is trying to fulfill its immediate wartime requirements while taking care of its demographic future, with these factors weighing heavily in determining how many more of its citizens must be directly pulled into its war effort. Oksana Zabolotna, an analyst with the Center of United Actions, a government watchdog group in Kyiv, believes the combined changes could help the army add another 50,000 troops. Zelensky has declined to say how many more soldiers Ukraine needs to repel the Russian invasion, but the president has stated that he believes Russia is preparing to send 300,000 more people into the fight later this spring.